Okay. Are we live? Yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so we still have 3 minutes, but Arek, we will need to start on time and do our intro in like less than 5 minutes because we've got so much exciting content to deliver today.
Yeah, right.
4 presentations in 1 hour and then a panel discussion with really, really cool guests today. So I feel challenged.
I hope we will manage. Maybe we will like make like a follow-up session if that one would be like too short.
Yeah, finally we took this AI topic, which we were really, not diving into for a while. So that was, yeah, I think we're
Yeah,
ready for it.
yeah. I think like the AI thing was like it was kind of like a buzzword still, and now we have some experiences to share. So I think that now is the right time to do it, really, not like 1 year before.
Yeah, and like at Stripe 47, we actually were pressed by some of the clients to show like what you guys are doing in terms of AI. Everyone is using AI. Like, how are you using AI to cut costs of our
Mm-hmm.
service? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, we were doing it, but we were experimenting, failing. Something was good, something was bad. But finally, we decided, okay, we have to show because so many people are talking about it. We're doing it actually, but we're not really bragging about it because it's still an experimentation phase. So we don't feel like that's the right time to start sharing. But I think we have some good session today because we're going to cover good practices and also some of the failures and some of the frustrations that we have encountered. I hope this will be useful. Okay,
Yeah.
it's 1 minute to 10 a.m. Warsaw. So what, are we getting started?
Yeah, I guess we should.
Yeah, I guess we should have like right on time, so a few seconds. Anyways, guys, whoever is here, welcome. This is already sixth, right? E-commerce
Yeah.
growth meetup. It's a series where we want to share content, best practices with e-commerce community. But any business that is doing something digital, I think can benefit from today's session. In fact, like even if you're not in e-commerce, I think in this session will be useful. So the topic is when to trust AI and when to trust yourself. So we're gonna talk nice things and bad things about AI tools. That's
The truth. Yeah.
the truth, the truth. And let's quickly introduce ourselves. I'm Wysocka.
Arek Wiśniewski.
We are from two companies, Stripe 47 and Sublime, who are co-creating e-commerce growth meetup for a while already. A little bit about us. So when it comes to Stripe, we actually execute growth, but we are also consulting companies on growth, especially companies from the e-commerce sector and Sublime.
Yeah, and we are some analytics platform that measure growth, but also like activate some insight, sends data to like third-party tools to make growth
And
happen.
And we actually very often collaborate on projects. So we are the people who advise to e-commerce leaders on the strategies and plans to create growth in their businesses. And then we're using a Sublime platform and very often also know-how of Sublime team to implement analytics into the e-commerce businesses. We have also some partners who are supporting us. So, Arek, maybe you want to say a little bit about Enjoy Growth.
So the Enjoy Growth is the newsletter that concentrates on growth strategies, growth news, everything that is like growth related in Poland, but also like abroad.
And Founders is actually a company that is uniting founders of different businesses, especially digital businesses, but not only. They're doing conferences, masterminds, sharing a lot of content, and they're also supporting our initiative because I was speaking at some of their events, and they also value what we're doing here. And this is an agenda for today. So I think that's the first time we're gonna try to deliver so much content in such a short time. So you bet that AI helped us to squeeze so much content into short sessions. So for the first hour, we're gonna deliver 4 really short keynotes. Each keynote is supposed to be 15 minutes. We're gonna start by Arek, and we're going to talk about what AI can do in analytics. Then we're going to go into AI in ad creation, which is probably the most common usage of AI in marketing, but we're going to have Michał from Tribe who will share his frustrations and successes. Then we're going to have AI in ads. I'm really looking forward to this session because with Lila, we recently had a couple of cases where we were challenged by some AI tools that not always were actually helping us out. And finally, we're going to have Martyna. This is a little bit different because she's our head of HR and talent development, and she's going to talk about how she's using different AI tools to increase the workflow efficiency. So collaboration between people at our company, and I think that's something that can be used in other companies too. And finally, we're going to have our exciting panel that I'm going to lead. 4 amazing guests from different companies or different sectors, all working actively on different AI tools in the e-commerce context, and not only e-commerce context, but also company organization context. They are all really knowledgeable guys, and I'm challenged to lead a really good discussion with them. So stay with us, guys, until the end. And now, stage is yours, Arek. We managed in 4 minutes, so I'm proud.
Yeah. I'll try to be concise and quick. Okay, so let me share my screen.
See ya.
See you in a minute. Okay, so maybe. Okay, I will. Okay, that's better. Okay. Yeah, so, oops. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, welcome everybody once again. I'm Arek, I'm the CEO and co-founder at Sublime, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about AI in analytics and share our experiences with different AI tools that we've been testing. So the AI models have been present in analytics for decades. Probably you are familiar with models for predictive analytics that allows you to estimate lifetime value, estimate churn, or predict probability of purchase. You probably also heard about models for fraud detection, or you are using some marketing tools that are being optimized by AI, and many more. But these classic models, they're highly specialized and they cannot interact with humans. And about a year ago, ChatGPT and OpenAI presented ChatGPT. That's a LLM model, so large language model that's not specialized. That is like a generalist and can tackle a wide variety of tasks, and can interact with humans. We can use natural language to talk to AI, and then AI is talking back. So that's a big change. So today I'm going to focus, and we'll be talking about analytics powered by these LLMs, and mainly powered by ChatGPT. So the data analytics process roughly consists of 3 stages. The first one is data pre-processing. So it's a stage where you prepare the data, you check if the data are of good quality. Then you calculate some metrics and want to discover what happened, why it happened, and that's data analysis step. And then the last one is insights. So you want to put the data, the metrics that you calculated in a business context, and also get some business insights to be able to do changes in your business and to try to convert like the data into real value. And data analytics process stays the same. So it was the same for the people that were, for the data analysts that were like analyzing, doing like all the 3 steps manually, let's say. And it's still the same now when we have like LLMs like powering or backing up the data analysts. So the process is the same, and let's like look at every step of the process and see if it can be automated and what are our experiences with working together with AI. So the data preprocessing step, it consists of like many parts, like the most important being like data quality check, data cleaning, data transformation, because the data can be like in the wrong format and you need to like transform them, and also like data documentation, so data governance, because you want to know what's going inside your analysis. You want to understand the data or the definition of the data quite well. So we gave the ChatGPT like some easy tests, like and also a challenging ones. In terms of like data preprocessing, easy tests, well, the results were perfect. Here are some examples of the prompts that we gave. So for example, we asked to convert like the 1 column that was in Unix timestamp to the timestamp format. Or we asked the chat to remove all characters from the text after the colon, so a simple data manipulation thing. Or we asked to create like 1-sentence description of a table when based on the column names, and in each case, like the result was very good and quite reliable. When we gave the model like more challenging tests, and we wanted, for example, to find a function that will search nested columns or ask to explain a long query, the results were mixed. So, for example, for the function prompt, we received a function that wasn't a BigQuery function, and we are like using a BigQuery SQL dialect. So it didn't work. In terms of like explaining a long query, chat did a really good job on the first run. So that was really helpful. But then when we asked to optimize the same query, and the query like consisted of subqueries and multiple different joins, like each time we received the answer that didn't work in the database. And after like a few iterations, the model like gave us the input query, so that wasn't much of the optimization for us. So the results were like a little bit unreliable. Sometimes they were good, sometimes they were bad. And like summing up, like the data preprocessing, like the LLM is pretty good in some easy and medium tasks, and it helps us a lot and cut the time needed to this time consuming phase, data preprocessing. But for hard tasks, it's somehow unreliable, and we need to be very careful when we are like examining the results, the answers. Data analysis part is seeking the answers to the question of what happened and why did it happen and what will happen in the future. And it usually involves calculating some metrics in time or for different cohorts. So here we, for example, like ask the chat to calculate like average order value for the last 2 months, and we like gave the information about the table structure and also the how the metrics are constructed. It calculated average order value quite well for the last 2 months. So we moved to the next step and wanted to find like top 5 best-selling products this week and same week last year. And the chat found like the 5 best-selling product this week, and it was very good, but it failed to do year-over-year comparison. So it wasn't able to find the same period of the last year. So the success was partial. And the last thing, so the most hard task that we did, it was to ask the chat to calculate like average revenue per subscriber for the last 12 cohorts. and here where the results were the worst, because the AI calculated the metric assumed like wrong metric definition, so the numbers were off, and also like didn't calculate the cohorts in the right way. So the results were like summing up, like this is in terms of like data analysis tasks, like easy task can be automated, and AI can be of a help here. But for medium and hard task, we prefer either not to use LLM, or we are very, very, very careful when we are getting the answers. Okay, and the last phase, so insights. So we have like data that are good quality, then we calculated some metrics, and now we want to get some insights what to do with our business. So for example, create an executive report, get some actionable insights or strategic recommendations for the next year. So we gave the AI the data about like last month's campaign results. And we wanted to know what's the optimal split for the next month, because that's the question that we are getting from our clients quite a lot. And the chat answered that we should maximize return on ad spend. That's true, and also minimize the cost per acquisition. That's also true, but also to maximize repeat order rate. And it doesn't make sense in the context of campaign results and budget optimization. We also like so we gave him also a second prompt that was the easier one. It was easier one to suggest us whether we should just should increase the media budget based on last month's campaign results, or decrease the media budget. And that was even more bizarre, because it gave us the answers. It didn't give us like the straight answer to increase or to decrease, but it gave us some kind of a generic marketing theory about like budget optimization. That was not an insight. And we tried like we did like a couple of iterations with the prompt, but couldn't like get the answers that we were seeking. So the results wasn't satisfactory at all. And so in terms of insights, we think, or at least our experience is that the LLM is not very good at generating insights. We prefer to do it like by hand in the old way, let's say. And at least for now, this technology requires a lot of improvement if it's going to like help analysts to get some real value from the data in terms of like business decisions. So like summing up this part, like the data analytics is definitely changed. Each of the 3 steps can, or at least like 2 of these steps can use the help of AI, but it still requires some human input. So the data preprocessing can be fairly like automated, and it saves a lot of time. And 80% of data analyst time was allocated to data preprocessing. So now this time is being freed up, and analysts can use like or can do like spend more time on data analysis and also on generating insights. In terms of data analysis, human and AI must like come hand in hand, because the results can be sometimes unreliable. And in terms of insights, human input is necessary, because at least from our experience, we couldn't like generate valuable insights with LLM, because it doesn't know the business context and don't know like the answers that we are looking for. Okay, I also wanted to share with you like one case study that we did for one of our clients, a D2C food brand, where we used AI, and where the use of the AI was quite beneficial for the data analysis part. And so our client had thousands of responses to analyze, because it made a questionnaire on Meta with 3 giveaways, and wanted to know the answers to 4 questions. How would you describe our brand? what product variants in terms of taste, smell, color should be introduced. Where and when did you first meet our brand, and how do you eat our product? So they wanted to get to know their customers and wanted to see what they value about the brand, about the product. So we turned to AI for help because we have a couple of thousand answers to analyze. And we ask AI to propose like 3 levels of categories. So we can like do a short list and then choose which categories make sense, and it should be our dictionary of categories. So the categories were reviewed by analysts. As I said, like in terms of data analysis phase, the results can be unreliable, so human help is required. And we ended up with standard categories like convenience, health and nutrition, and preparation time. So that were the values that people were, were the things that people were valuing, were most valuable to in terms of like the product that our client was selling. So for example, the comment like love that they're gluten and dairy free was categorized as health and nutrition. But the AI also like suggested something strange. So as a 3rd level category, it suggested a target audience. And at the beginning, we thought that that was a mistake. But then we ran the analysis again, concentrating only on discovering professions of the people that were leaving the comments. And it turned out that we were able to discover the professions of the people, like doctor, nurses, teachers. And doctor, nurses, and teachers were like the top 3 professions of the people leaving the comments, because like comments like this, so I work in the hospital and it's crucial for me to eat healthy, was at the beginning categorized as nutrition and healthy value of the product. But on the other hand, having like this information hospital, we could like also detect the profession, and that was something that we didn't think at the beginning, and that was something that was suggested by AI, and then we followed this lead, and it was very valuable because it was a target group for our client, like based on the insights on how, where, and when customers eat the product, we were able to create personas. And also to detect the professions of the people that were most happy with the product and were most eager to buy it. And the brand started targeting hospitals and schools after this analysis. And we even like did a follow-up analysis for the clients. So we analyzed like the list of 5 largest schools and hospital facilities in the US. And we found those that were within 5 miles distance from Walmart, because the products of our client can be bought not only online but also in Walmart. And our client like sent free samples to these schools and hospitals, because that's where his target audience is. Yeah, so I guess it's pretty much everything that I was able to talk in the short period of 15 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it and it was valuable. If you have any questions, please write to me on LinkedIn, because I don't think we have time for any comments to answer. Yeah, so I guess the next presentation is coming in a minute.
You guys can post comments on the live stream, and some of them I might be addressing during the panel discussion, because you're gonna have guests there. So
okay,
that's Arek, too long. It's supposed to be 15 minutes.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it was 16. Thank you.
Hello, guys. Now it's my time. So my presentation is AI in ad creation, innovation, limitation. And basically, this whatever I mentioned when it comes to creative AI generation, AI is having its renaissance. And because basically, I more think of it like as a controversial duo. So ad creation and AI as a controversial duo, because from one side, it looks like we have endless possibilities and quicker ways of content creation, because now we can generate images, copy, music, very soon also video, captions. But from the other side, we have the reality, which is we work in marketing, we work in e-commerce. So we also need to think about such thing as creativity, out of the box ideas, brand consistency, and also you need to think about some legal matters as well and intellectual property. So this is where some things get controversial. So while it's easy to create things with AI that actually can help you with many things, you also need to take into the reality check perspective. That's why and in creative department that we have at Tribe 47, like we always have this struggle, where is it really an innovation that AI is helping us create new ways of how we do our things, or is it actually limiting ourselves? So like to do it, like we actually had to test. So we tested many creative tools, which tools could help us do faster and better, and which tools made us realize that where we still need some human brain for the successful realization of our campaigns. So for the past few months, we've been busy testing, and we tested many apps, many software that basically it's almost everywhere in all the software that we've been using. So we, for example, paid ChatGPT to do everything basically what we asked it to do. We used Claude for copywriting. We used different services, different tools for graphic design, which is, I don't know, AI functions in Photoshop, generating images with DALL-E or Midjourney, or enhancing our video with beautiful captions, or cutting snippets with Clap. And we did this just to look out our ad creative framework that we do at Tribe, which consists of 4 stages. This is research and ideation, brainstorming, then ad production, and launch and analysis. So together, this 4-step framework creates life cycle that we use for every campaign that we realize at Tribe. So you might be wondering how this framework looks like after we implemented some AI into it. So basically, it looks like this. Not much has changed to the structure of the process itself, but we enhanced some stages that we use it to produce our ads. One step, as you can see, it's still marked as green, which is launch analysis, because we believe there's still work to do, and we still didn't find this sweet spot regarding using AI on this stage. Mostly because for launching, you still need some manual work. You still need to upload all the images, banners, copy and video, and pass it to the performance marketer. They need to upload it manually to the, I don't know, maybe like Meta advertising platform. And when it comes to analysis, we've tested also a few tools to help us with creative analysis. For example, Motion, but besides offering beautiful design, beautifully aesthetically pleasing graphs and charts, sometimes for the advanced analytics that we do, they were not helping that much. And the tool itself is got a bit pricey. So let's go one by one through each of these stages to see how AI helps us with in our daily work. So when it comes to research and ideation, it can help us with such things as data gathering, trend identification, findings, and note summary, as well as competitor research, brainstorm sessions when AI serves as an assistant, and idea generation as well. So on this stage, we use AI mostly to help us with some manual work. And basically, it saves us some time, because if we want to look for data, we need to go through different reports, different pages, read a lot of things. When we want to find some trends, you need to spend a lot of time in TikTok or Instagram Reels. When you make notes, when you have a brainstorming session, you want to focus actually and be engaged in that session, not making notes on the side. And with this, AI helps us a lot. So basically, it's the step where AI is improving and handling of the manual work. So that's why we can focus our time on higher level strategic thinking. So with this said, with these positive things that AI brings to this stage, we also have some drawbacks. So the things that we should pay attention to, aka AI trust issues, and this could be verifying where the information takes from, because like especially if you work with industries that are sensitive with data, like I don't know, medical businesses, supplements, IT, cybersecurity. There needs to be fact checking, and you cannot just like look for the information and copy paste to what you found. You always need to verify the source. So with this, you need to be quite mindful. When it comes to creativity, idea generation, AI is not very helpful when it comes to original ideas, because it usually follows some common things, and that's why it's a good tool to use as starting point when it can give you some internal thoughts that you can use. But everything that comes up later is basically on you. When you summarize some notes, AI has a tendency to drop some information, especially if there's a lot of information. So sometimes when there's some message that you want to keep, you might find yourself wondering like where the information went. And AI also heavily relies on the available data, which can be also limiting, because basically it doesn't connect the dots. Like when you work on your project, sometimes you can find some links and connection between, I don't know, past projects that you did. You can use your experience. AI simply cannot do that. You need to feed it with some information, a lot of information before to actually get this information. So these are like the most common AI trust issues that you found on this stage. Let's go next. So the next stage is briefing, and where we use AI to help us with is basically brief structure, it's video script flow suggestion, information organization, revision of missing elements, and alignment with campaign goals. So on this stage, with briefing, AI doesn't have that much as because at Try47 we have our own built database of briefs that we use to work with our creative teams. But sometimes we also tend to omit the briefs as well, because our team is they know a lot of things about the campaigns that's going on. So sometimes we just don't need to brief them that much. But with some, for example, external things that we do, we create some flows for the content creators or influencers. With this, AI can help. They can also organize the information, because like if the campaign is very complex, sometimes you might get lost in this. Sometimes you can miss some important elements that you would need to put to the brief. That's why like AI can help you with briefing. So basically here as a summary of this stage, AI helps you structure your insights. It can improve clarity, and it's good for some external purposes. So briefing content creators and influencers. Just like with the other phase, with the other stage, it comes with its trust issues. First of all, sometimes AI is getting lost when the campaign is more complex, when the brief is quite complex. Sometimes the briefs can be overly simplified or incomplete. So you always need to double check if everything that you wanted to put in the brief is there. And sometimes it can miss some personal touch, especially if you're briefing for the people that has like specific tone of voice. Then you would need to feed AI with more information. It doesn't go as quickly, because what I shared in the past stage as well, it tends to oversimplify things. It tends to follow some patterns. So you need to be remembered that if you do something for personal, then you need to also pay attention. Also, AI will never know as much as you know about the brands as you do, because you can think about clients' preferences, some best practices that you use on the projects, some past campaigns that you did, I don't know, 2 years ago, and you can link these things that AI cannot do. Like you would need to import a lot of data to AI, which would sometimes take you even more time to prepare a brief instead of actually doing it yourself. So like for this stage, when it comes to briefing, you need to fine tune these briefs. You need to like give it to someone else to check if everything is on point and if something is missing. But yeah, like it's a good overall, it's a good use of AI to structure your information to give more clarity. The next stage is at production, in which and I here I focused on three elements that we do to produce our ads, which is copywriting, graphic design, and video editing. And I'm going to focus now one by one how we use AI in each of these elements of ad preparation. So when it comes to copywriting, it helps us with ad copywriting, copy variations, SEO and keyword integration, as well as tone and voice adjustment, grammar and style check and correction, and headlines and hook inspo generation. Because with some of our clients, we still tend to use the professional copywriter, but there are already cases when we do ad copy, whether it's meta ad copy or PMX ad copy, only with AI. Sometimes you have the situation that you want to test some new angles, you create some variations, and that's why also AI is very helpful, because in seconds it can create many copy variations that are good for testing. When you do blog writing, it can help you with SEO, with putting in important keywords as well. When you have the copy ready, it's also good to check if the tone of voice is coherent with the brand tone of voice. It's basically taking you a few seconds instead of hiring a copywriter and asking to check if this word is in the client vocabulary, if we can use it or not. So for this, as well as grammar checking and headline inspiration is also good as a starting point, because for headlines, for hooks, we don't usually use everything that AI comes with, because we believe that for this part of copywriting, we still need to look for a copywriter. The hooks don't come like as creative as we wanted. There's no like this emotional element into it. And so this will lead to the professional copywriter, but it can be a good start. So moving to this, we will like in copywriting step on the ad creation, the trust issues that we found is sometimes the copy lacks unique creative flair that professional copywriters would put. So you can have like some clever wordplay. You can put some emotions, some context, like some RTMs, references to some movies, to some comics, to music. I think this could be achieved with copywriter with a much more natural way, because AI sometimes can do it, but sometimes it comes up a bit clunky. So it's not always, the copy doesn't come that creative. Also, when you work with copywriting with AI, sometimes it follows some predictable patterns. So you cannot disturb the way how you write copy. There's no enough spontaneity and creativity as well. And also, AI is good in copywriting when you use English language, because as it is trained mostly on English, then in other languages such as Polish, the quality of the copy can be a bit smaller and with less fluency. There are some grammar mistakes, there's some awkward phrasing, so it doesn't look like it was written by a native person. Which goes to the next step of our ad production stage, which is graphic design. And I think this is the most controversial element of using AI, especially that there are already tools that can create graphic from scratch. And what we found the most benefits with AI on this step is, for example, expanding photo, adding missing elements, presenting ideas to the client or the team, idea verification, and inspiration, because we use greatly a lot of functions with Adobe Photoshop. When you have, for example, vertical photo, and you want to do a horizontal banner and some photo is missing, so you basically use AI to expand the photo. You can very quickly add missing elements. I don't know, you have a banner on, I don't know, milkshake, so you can add some fruits, strawberries around in just a few seconds. Sometimes when you're presenting something to the client, you don't need to spend hours on creating the ready illustration or ready banner. Sometimes you just want to show the brief idea on how you would like to go with things. And this is where AI can help you with as well, because it minimizes the time of spending on this, but it can already give some idea on how you want to do things. As well with idea verification. Sometimes when our graphic designers are not clear about some idea that they want to pursue, they basically generate some image and they see if this is worth going into or not. And as well, like for inspiration, I think it's an additional thing to inspirational methods that we do. Like, you know, we use now AI. We also use kind of old ways like searching through Pinterest and so on. But this is a great thing to use as well. It also comes with its trust issues. And here you can find some quotes from our graphic designers that were testing AI with different tools for different needs. And first of all, while AI is good for image generation, it still doesn't work well with text. So the text can be sometimes unreadable, some letters are missing. So if you want to put headlines in the banner, sometimes they don't come out as they were supposed to. You don't also have options for advanced editing. Like in Photoshop, you can add your own elements, you work with layers. And this is also something that's it's limiting the ad banner process. And sometimes even when you have like an idea that requires you more advanced prompting, and putting these prompts and generating images sometimes takes even more time than doing the graphic manually, for example, in Figma. And then, of course, there's the phase of fine-tuning, of feedback from the client, and sometimes it's very difficult to edit what AI already prepared for you. So definitely, sometimes it's more consuming than actual manual work. And sometimes also there are some situations that AI cannot generate something that's already in the prompts. And the thing that we also struggle with is legal things. Some using like stock is our regular thing to do. We use stock bank stocks. What AI takes inspiration from? Is it stealing from these bank stocks? We don't know. That's why we also think that is kind of morally questionable when using AI especially for paid media. Because if you do this for your personal use, then probably you wouldn't get concerned. But we work for our clients. We want to make sure that everything is legal. And as well as when you use AI for some more freelancing stuff for your own personal needs, sometimes the fact that AI can create something in an unexpected way can be acceptable. But if you're working according to the brief, according to brand guidelines, sometimes it becomes much more challenging. And yeah, sometimes also you need to adjust your idea to what AI proposes, not the way around. And especially what we were looking in AI would be, for example, to improve our process with reformatting many banners. Because if you do PMax banners, programmatic banners for each key visual, sometimes you need to spend hours generating 20, 30 different reformats. We used some tools and they were not giving us the outcome that we wanted. Sometimes when we were putting the PSD file from Photoshop, it was just like messing up totally with the final effect. So yeah, and the last element is video editing and production, which we don't explore that much, especially that the video area, the video generation is still work in progress. ChatGPT is still like not putting the official version of how we want to use this element. So, but we've been already using some of its elements to improve our ad creation. And this can be engaging subtitles, eye correction, video snippets, and auto reframing. Like probably you know these creative, engaging subtitles are everywhere on the internet. We also been using with, for example, CampusAI. This is a great way to give more engagement to your videos. When we work with webinar campaigns with video invitations, when the speaker records an invitation, so to avoid this situation when they read some text and you can clearly see that the eye is moving from left to right, we use eye correction and this works best. We use also tools to cut our video snippets, the snippets that have the biggest potential for virality. And we can also use it for auto reframing when we have a vertical video and want to quickly make it to square. We also use this. As with copywriting, graphic design, video editing also comes with its issues. And we found that sometimes when you create captions, some AI highlights some words that are quite random. Usually there are shorter ways such as it's and but, which are not specifically needed to be highlighted. Sometimes the words disappear quicker than the viewer has a chance to read them. So the flow of the video is a bit disturbed. And sometimes the clips that the tool cuts for us, they are not actually interesting to watch. So with some of these things said, that it's still a good use of video because like significantly enhances our video quality, greatly reduces manual editing time because editing the video, adding captions, eye corrections with traditional tools such as Premiere Pro or After Effects would take much more time. So what's the conclusion of this short presentation? Basically, the thing is that when we create ads, different ads, we want them to be creative. We want them to be outstanding. We want them to be something different. That's why AI helps us with the process of reducing the time that we would probably spend on the things that can be already fixed by AI. But when it comes to some more creativity thinking, brainstorming, and so on, then probably we still would need some human help. So ultimately, the verdict, the solution, it's about this, that yes, AI significantly simplifies our work, provides ideas, sometimes generates specific elements that you can use. However, if you want to create a polished, unique brand that truly impresses, then AI simply cannot replace the entire creative team, the creative strategist, the copywriter, graphic designer, video editor. So AI can speed up many processes, but human ability for unconventional thinking is, in our opinion, still irreplaceable. Thank you very much.
Michał, thank you. But in fact,
I crossed the time.
Yes, you really crossed the time. Feedback later. So we're having Lila jumping in right now with the presentation on performance, and in the background we have decided that Martyna with a presentation about using AI in workflow and human resources for e-commerce will speak after the panel. So we don't let our panelists wait too long because they have 1 hour booked in 15 minutes from now. So please, guys, if you still can, extend the time you can stay with us until 12:15, because right after the panel, we're going to have one more short but super important presentation by Martyna. And now let's have Lila, and let's hope she's going to make it in 15 minutes.
Okay, no pressure at all. Hi guys, nice to not to see you, but nice to have you on this meeting. And let me jump with ads a little bit what I have here. So let's think about, like, did AI really change paid media landscape? For me, not, because automation and advanced prediction came to paid media way before AI became a thing. In general, just when I think about like digital advertising, I can imagine it without advanced ways of optimization and setup. Why so? One of the good examples in the world of digital marketing is programmatic. Who knows, they know, but programmatic, at least RTB, has been a total black box in the world of paid digital, and it was introduced in 2013. And back then, it already used automation for real-time bidding, targeting, and optimization across its ad networks. Now they use AI additionally for predictive analytics and dynamic creative optimization, but still, it was there in 2013. In 2017, Meta introduced CBO, campaign budget optimization. I still remember those times when everybody was debating like this campaign optimization is better than ad set optimization. And actually still people do like talk about that. So from 2017, it's still this thing. Now, these automated features are available on every paid advertising platform. In 2021, PMax was introduced to Google, and now there is like plenty of different solutions. In 2022, Meta, as like the response for changes with iOS 14 Plus, introduced Advantage Suite. First, it was just Advantage Plus shopping campaigns. Now they gradually added like plenty of different options. And nowadays, like as I said, this is available everywhere, like in every platform we work with. But what are these features and which ones can I recommend to you based on what we already like using on our campaigns? Let's start with my favorite or our favorite, Meta. I would say it's Meta World, as I call it nowadays, Meta Advantage Plus, because everything basically in Meta Business Manager nowadays becomes Advantage Plus. They have Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, they have Advantage Plus audience, Advantage Plus budget, Advantage Plus placements. Basically, you just add Advantage Plus and you know that it's Meta. And it's kind of interesting like shift that they trying to automate everything and make AI predictable. But this Advantage Plus solutions have some pros and cons, of course. As a plus, they reduce manual effort and optimize cross-channel and cross-format, which gives more time. So let's say Michał will focus on better creatives and test some AI solutions. But on the other hand, work on performance specialist becomes less influential, I would say. Like we have worked more closely with creative teams, so to find these better creatives. And also we need to understand how to combine this Advantage Plus features with manual ones, which is sometimes a little bit like hectic and weird. But let's dive into a few of these things and I will say to whom they are and what do you need to consider so to implement. If you talk about Advantage Plus campaigns, I would say that that's something that we least use because it's automated like on every level. And I can recommend it when you don't have much resources, perhaps like no specialists on board or no money much. Or you don't have many creatives and you're okay with setting one campaign and just wait. Because usually you need to wait with this campaign. I wrote here like 2+ weeks, but in reality it's even longer. So to see any results. Also, if you have like big target group, let's say you're available in the whole country or in a few countries, it's a little bit better and your product is more widely used. It's some solution you can think about. If you want though, like to run this campaign and some of this considered using, if you are matching your client, you can rethink and implement bid multiplier, which is a very good solution here. Not maybe widely used, but used by a lot of clients already. For this, you would need to contact your CSM, so client support manager or support in general in Meta, and they will help you to set it up. You definitely need to set up audience controls, meaning like if you are not available in some locations or if you don't want to reach people in some certain age, it's possible to do on the business manager level, not on the campaign level. And you can consider budget scheduling with increasing of the budget for specific time periods when you know that some, like for example, weekends are way better for your client than other dates. If to go to Advantage Plus audience, This is interesting because according to Facebook, this targeting, like Advantage Plus targeting, can lower costs by conversion by 7% and CPC by around 28%, which is a lot. But I wouldn't say that it can't. It really depends from country and business. What we see though, like when we use this Advantage Plus in our clients, we have higher reach, obviously, and like scaling potential is growing, but we have worse quality traffic, mainly because Meta is quite often can go beyond your age range suggestions, and it will, because it will be looking for those people. And you basically cannot divide warm and cold. You only can like exclude hot, which is also a little bit more concerning. I would consider this solution when you want to scale fast, don't have dedicated creatives for different persona maybe, or look for simplicity, low CPMs, and don't want to focus on funnel much. If you will go with this, though, I would suggest to use like budget capping for existing customers. You, for example, can do that. You doesn't want even to bid for existing customers of your hot audience, and set this audience controls I was mentioning on the campaign level, because it also will be used in Advantage Plus audience. If to talk about Advantage Plus placements, I can recommend those when you just start with your paid media, or you want to leverage all capabilities of Meta placements, or you have big enough warm groups. As a strategy, we usually do the way that if we, for example, starting with some clients, they only starting with campaigns, or they do rebranding, etc. We use all available placements initially, like look how on the historical data indicating which placements are work the best, and then we can go manual for upper funnel, like so to reach those people looking on a CPM, CPC, etc. But on deep like conversion events for like lower stage of the funnel, we go with automated ones. Not always, but it's a good solution. So to like first test it to see what works, and then go with this. On some clients, we just go fully with Advantage Plus placements because we want to have like conversions in the best cost, and it works the best for us. The next thing is creative enhancement. I will not be talking through all of this because it would take like a lot of time, but I encourage you to make a screenshot or later on come back to this presentation and check it. But it's kind of the cheat sheet which we have for now with this enhancement creatives, which you can turn on, you can turn off, and which you need to check before turning on. This feature is like a slightly hidden when you like put the creative into the system, and so often they misclicked or left fully on clients. We sometimes see that they don't even saw that they exist, or they misclicked something, or used features that they think are cool, but they in reality were like looking weirdly. Like for example, music, they have like summer creatives, but the music is about Christmas, so it's a little bit weird. You need to check these things. That's nice that the system like has these options, but usually it can be used if you don't have the creative team. You have some creatives ready, but you cannot do a lot of them. So it's something that you can use in that case. But in general, most of these options should be checked before pushing the creative into the system. There is more. I wanted to show like the most interesting ones. And from those which exist in Meta, we use currently Advantage Plus placements, as I said, and I would encourage you to use them because then you kind of have the full range of Meta system used in your campaign. If you see that some placements doesn't work, of course, no pressure, you should turn them off, but better to check them. Creative enhancements, those that are like can be turned on, those that cannot, like you can recheck how they look in campaign. Advantage Plus budgets, CBO, old CBO works very well. Advantage Plus shopping for sure should be turned on. Other Advantage Plus solutions should be checked and can be tested for a specific case. Moving forward to Google, where we have famously known PMAX, like Universal App Campaign, Demand Gen. They also have responsive search ads, which are already there for a long time. Dynamic ads, name it, they have it. But what is interesting, like when Meta has advantage plus everything, at least like Google is more creative and doesn't add just advantage plus, but has like different solutions combined. Here, I would say that solutions are landing more on the pros-like side, but honestly, you don't have much choice here. But because it's a full campaign solution, not just elements in campaign setups, so like you should use them in general because you cannot just turn on, turn off some elements. So from pros, it's very nice campaigns if you know how to optimize them. But from minuses, like the number of campaigns in Google reduced and new strategies should be built, like for example with demand gen, I will talk in a second, but still like in Google it looks a little bit different. The first one is performance max. I would say that, as I said, like they should be used, and here if you have a commerce you should use it. Even if you don't have a commerce you should use it, because it's a good way of conversion gaining. It should be used by every business, but in order to optimize, you can implement few optimization options. Like you should actually divide your cold group and bid for new users. It's possible in the system to have like bidding for new and old and only for new. So it's good to use. Always use audience signals and a catalog if you have one. Pay attention to system suggestions and budget predictions. It's better to dismiss the recommendation and then to keep it like in the system. And test creative angles. We do this like always. We don't do one ad set and push everything into one ad set. We do different ad sets. We try to test it because it's something we still can work on. With the universal app campaign, the same. Like you should use it if you have app or if you have web plus app ecosystem. It's quite similar to PMax. There are a few different things which can be implemented. In case of universal app campaign, we definitely see that texts are very important here because they are widely showed and taking the biggest share of impression. Like for this, you actually need to pay attention. You need to pay attention for ad strengths in both cases in PMax and in universal app campaign. You should implement video-only ads with native creatives ideally. They will be in shorts or in apps. This is very popular at the moment. We see very good CTRs in native creatives. And you don't purely focus on installs, because if it's just installs, we see a big like share and very low install cost per install, but they are not most effective actually. Like the people installing, but then they don't do actions in the app. So better like maybe start with that, but pretty quickly switch to in-app action or ROIs if you have e-commerce app. Demand gen is changing. Like usually people are very skeptic about that one, but it should be considered because it used to be considered more as awareness, traffic, and sometimes lead campaign. But now, like last week was introduced that WAC or YouTube for Action campaigns are changing, and from Q2 into 2025 will be moving to demand gen. So demand gen is becoming more interesting campaign, and I would encourage like already to start testing it if you have if you had like a WAC in your media mix before, or maybe you want just to leverage different campaigns in Google. This is something you need to start. I will be looking like forward what people will be doing with this campaign, and I will be also maybe updating somewhere in LinkedIn, because this is something that we also planning to test more widely. So what we do use like in Google now, PMax must have for sure, universal app campaign must have if you have app. Also responsive search ads. I didn't add like information about this, but this is also quite automated, exists for quite some time already. We use it. I would encourage to use it as well. Demand gen to test. I think it will be a good solution in some time, but still we need to see and we need to test, and they need to also change a lot with this campaign. But Google sets are usually something that you should have in your campaigns. Other platforms, maybe like TikTok, Pinterest, also introducing AI solutions. Like TikTok, for example, is very similar to Meta, but it introduced smart campaigns. Like Meta is Advantage Plus campaigns. TikTok is smart. So everything should be either advantage or smart. Pinterest also have some solutions, other platforms as well. But in general, it's same but different. So I would say that they like copy pasting each other. And so to summarize, AI is everywhere now. The platforms changing their campaign possibilities and even adding like generative AI. I didn't cover it because it's more like the topic of creative, but it's also not as good yet. So something to discover. But in general, well, Meta is all about Advantage Plus, TikTok becoming smart, Google collapses its solutions into one option. The key now is to properly leverage these sets of campaigns in your media mix by combining manual and automated, because at some point everything will be automated, and put a lot of focus on creative. Actually, like use the things that Michał talked, maybe test AI in your creative process, because this is something that becomes quite important in the paid marketing at the moment. It was, but now it's even more important. And yeah, and discover what is available, what is changing, because it's interesting to see how the systems are changing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lila. So we did have already, give me a second. Yeah, we did have already 3 presentations, and obviously we didn't manage to do the 4th one. So guys, please stay after the panel, because we're gonna be delivering one more short presentation to you by Martyna, our head of HR, about using AI in the workflow, organization, and human resources. I think this one will surprise you a little bit. So please stay after the panel 15 minutes if you can. If not, you will have to watch the recording. And now we're going to go into our panel. So hopefully my panel guests are already with me. Let's see. I saw briefly Chris. I see Veena. Hi. I see Bartek. I see Marcin. I think Chris doesn't have his camera on yet. Okay. Almost. Welcome, guys. So this is my favorite part, obviously. It's a panel discussion. Let me first introduce our amazing guests. Let's start, of course, with the ladies. So we've got Veena Sidhu, a strategy and innovation consultant with over 15 years of experience. We have met at Mind Valley. Some of you guys know that. And Veena right now is working with different companies as a fractional COO, sometimes as fractional CMO, and she's using AI a lot. So I think she's going to share some cool tips, especially coming from smaller e-commerce businesses and medium e-commerce businesses. So I think this will be very useful. Then we've got Chris Wojewodzic. He's a CEO of Escola, which is one of Europe's fastest growing companies. He has experience of over 20, he has experience of many years working with different businesses, and he's working with AI and AI research for years. So this is really, I think this will be very interesting to hear your perspective, because you're coming a little bit more from the IT background. We are marketers here, so I think this is where these two worlds will actually blend. We've got Bartek Dobrowolski, who's head of AI Enablement at CampusAI Polska, which is actually one of the most founded startups in our region recently. And that's probably because it's supposed to share the knowledge about how humans should work effectively with AI. And Bartek himself is actually helping different businesses to implement AI solutions, to engage employees around the topics, and to actually create innovation based on that. And finally, we've got Marcin Bruś, who's, well, I mean, I think I can share it that Marcin is one of my mentors for years already, so I'm very happy he's finally joining us here. But obviously, he's head of advertising at Allegro, which is, well, it's for those of you guys who are not from Poland, Allegro is like Polish Amazon. It's the biggest marketplace in our region. And before Marcin was involved with Facebook, he was involved with Procter & Gamble at managerial and executive roles, and he's really into building high-performing teams and really driving business success through building really good teams and good collaborations. So yeah, that's enough about you guys. Let's dive into the discussion because I think that's very interesting for everyone. So first question to you guys. So there is a lot of misconceptions around what AI can do and what it can't. So I really want to hear you out. I mean, we just had like three short sessions coming from employees of Try47 and founder of Sublime. They were showing like how like we're using AI in different contexts of e-commerce businesses, like performance marketing, ad creation, analytics. There's many other contexts, but I want to hear your opinion. Like, what are the misconceptions versus reality? Like, what are you hearing from different businesses and different people, and what's your take on it? Yeah, you can, whoever wants to start. Bartek, we can't hear you.
You are not muted, but we cannot hear you.
Yeah. For some reason, we can't hear you. Even though you're not muted. Okay, let's have
Let me try
Bartek
to
figure it
use
out.
my
Oh, we can hear you.
speakers. Is it okay right now?
Yeah.
Better,
Okay.
much better.
So
Okay.
technology failed us again, right? Very good intro.
Enabled
The AI
speaker
discussion.
Intelligence didn't work. Okay, anyway, so we're talking about artificial intelligence and we cannot manage our basic equipment. But anyway, so first of all, thank you very much for having me here, and it's a great honor being with you guys. I've been working with AI since I don't know, like maybe 5-6 years when I joined the team supporting commercial real estate industry that was digitizing at the time. And in the meantime, I shifted towards AI enablement, which means that I'm helping organizations in the transitional processes. So I hear very often what are the misconceptions and misbeliefs in terms of AI deployment and usage. And I think the most common one, I'm really curious, what do you think about, is that AI will eventually replace human, will eventually replace people in our teams. This is something that makes people worried. I mean, the operational stuff, and it gives some management some vague promise of great savings that they will be able to replace very cost-consuming teams and people with algorithms. And this is not true. For several, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years, we'll not be able to replace as many people as management level will hope to. But we will
That's already bad that managers hope to, right?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, in CampusAI, we are not even allowed to say this. You know, we during our public presence, we are not even allowed in our brand book and code of ethics. We are not allowed even to say something, anything about replacing people with AI, just not to leave in a trace of uncertainty. Because we all here at CampusAI believe that AI can deliver superpowers to your team rather than replace people. And I know that you can find a lot of mentions in technology news and even in the mainstream news that some companies decided to get rid of some people that were doing some redundant, simple and repetitive work. But most of the time, that would help even without help of that would happen even without help of AI, because even simple algorithms and systems are now able to replace repetitive and simple tasks. AI, however, will deliver incredible power of huge amount of data analysis, hyper personalization, and support for everyday tasks for people who are now most of the time overwhelmed with the number of tasks they have to do in their everyday work, which in fact proves, which in fact was proven by Microsoft Work Trend Index. This is the report they make every year, stating that almost 70% of people in Poland, because they make it regionally and in particular countries, and they made it in Poland. So 68%, as far as I remember, of respondents to the survey declared that they are overwhelmed with the work they are doing right now. If it goes for the number of systems they have to log in and use and integrate the data and move the data from one to another. So AI will help them just be more effective, and will allow them do things that they were not available for them before the language models were populated. So this is the first misconception, and I will not continue right now. Just to
yeah, I wanted to say, let's
AI will not replace people. It will replace some very easy replaceable, even without AI, jobs. But if it goes for e-commerce, sales, retail, we need human interaction most of the time. Some things might be optimized, but the relation will have to be built by humans to humans interactions.
Thank you, Bartek. That was a really powerful intro. So let's give space for other panelists. Do you guys have anything to add when it comes to the misconceptions? Something that I think the one about AI replacing humans is something that I also hear a lot, but maybe you guys heard something else which is interesting to add. Veena?
I think, first of all, hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I'm learning so much, and I'm excited to learn more. Just playing off the AI replaces humans, I think the other myth is AI is perfect and AI doesn't make mistakes. So just as, you need a human being to kind of work with AI and it doesn't actually replace a job, AI kind of enhances or speeds up productivity and efficiency in some ways, AI is going to make mistakes. So you do need a qualified, educated and informed individual supervising that and catching those mistakes, because mistakes definitely happen.
Totally. Anything else? Chris, Marcin, something that you want to add?
So let me actually wrap up what Veena and Bartosz said, but more in the bigger picture. What is actually work? What is actually e-commerce marketing? So to do any campaign, you basically need to do planning, execution, and then checking your results.
Yeah.
And very often we think that it's plug and play. So you basically put some super complex tool and then the job is done. But what LLMs and other classic or modern, so Gen AI, are very poor at is planning and checking results. That's what we are missing. That's why we are talking about agents so much currently. Because the job to be done is actually planning, executing, controlling. And planning and controlling, AI is very poor at. So what I'm actually most to work as is doing much more complex projects, something over 2 million euro. And so that's how we try to cover these three parts. And most of the people want the plug and play, and they cover the medium part, which is execution. And definitely we can streamline sometimes by 10%, sometimes 10x. That is amazing. And sometimes people come into some solution and wow, this streamlined my work 2 times, 3 times. Amazing. But how can we truly redesign whole process? And that's what we are, I think also we should consider in terms of 5-10 years. Can we actually redesign the process? So it's actually, I believe actually the far future is bots talking to bots. That's the far-fetched future that we are heading to agents. So like now all the banks, telecoms, they have their agents, right? How about every one of us has an agent for all the different tasks? For like what Google showed many times ago, like ordering a table at the restaurant, but up to negotiating your new deal. Agents to agents replacing lawyers, or marketing things so that you buy and sell agents negotiate the deals. Now only big corporations can out because it's super hardcore and super expensive to train. So I'm just leaving you with this thought: what is that 10 plus years future that we are heading to with actually replacing humans?
We're gonna get to this question actually. It's my last one, obviously, about the future. Marcin, any looking from the perspective of a huge corporation, like a biggest marketplace, like I'm sure people are talking a lot about AI. Like we're gonna jump into the next question about differences between big and small companies. But are there any misconceptions that you're dealing with, or you have to deal with when it comes to your team, or I don't know, suppliers?
Hello, everyone. Hello. Thanks for having me here. I don't think the misconceptions happen internally, but I think it's still not everything is commonly internalized yet. So one of the things that may occasionally pop up is that this is kind of feature or set of features that needs to be plugged in, and voila, and we are done. Of course, it's not the case. It's the more we see the opportunity, the more we understand, the clearer it gets that it's more of a mindset and a kind of transformation that unlocks the focus more on opportunities than on threats. And I see in large companies, there's so much built on data, the opportunity like are discovered like every month. And there is increased clarity among more senior leaderships that this is not really something that is a function of dedicated teams. It's more a lens that each team needs to look at, because the amount of things like productivity improvements, performance improvements, and even employees' engagement, opportunity to remove this part of work that is boring to tears is hugely important. Just one of the examples. In my team, we have a team where we have data engineers, data analysts, and we also work with the machine learning friends. Things like reporting of big campaigns, of big advertisers, sometimes it's not the most riveting part of the work. It's much more fun to draw conclusions from the reports. So these things can take hours. So we have automated many of these things. The simple example is we're able to save 1,300 hours a month of the most boring part of work, because you just press the button and a few minutes later you have a really good looking, newly complete report. And this is where you can work on the strategy part, which obviously many people prefer to focus on. And there are, of course, more examples.
That nicely ties to the presentation that Arek did in the beginning of this event, where he was showing that there's certain tasks around the data analysis where AI can really help. And usually a lot of the time of analyst comes into the data organization. It's what you just said, like just creating tables that you can draw conclusions from. And AI still doesn't draw the best conclusions. They still will not do the budget split for your next campaign, but they can organize this data, and that saves tons of hours that none of the data analysts really want to do, because organizing the columns is just the most boring part of the job, right? So that's really cool. But let's jump into the next question. So we have here perspective of different organizations, big and small, and I think this is very interesting for me, like how different sizes and different types of companies really approach using AI tools internally, or having the whole teams starting to use, test, experiment. Like, what's the differences? How is there a difference? Because I don't know. There's maybe more pressure around security of data, or maybe there's more pressure around having something like perfectly tested or bulletproof. Like, what are you observing when it comes to smaller and bigger organizations? Like, how does it change? I don't know, Marcin, maybe you can start, because you're in this big organization. How easy is it to test new tools?
And of course, if you're a public company, of course, you need to be obsessed about security and privacy. So one of the
banking and finance.
And for good reasons. Everyone probably read about the article that some excessively enthusiastic employees of Samsung in the early days of ChatGPT tried to work smart, and all this learning happened too fast. And if you are too hasty in using tools and sharing sensitive information, the models can learn too quickly and things you don't want them to learn. And it's not really easy to make them unlearn things, which few people know about. So we have our internal custom tools, and we also are selective in using external tools. And this adoption, I think that one of the things that really accelerate the adoption of thinking is just to change the habits gradually. So the more you start using tools, even very basic, like summarizing meetings, writing emails, finishing, correcting, these little tiny things drive enthusiasm and show that there is no threat here. This is a major opportunity. And then, of course, going to way more advanced things, up to things like multi-objective optimization of algorithms, which is ultimately what can really be at the very heart of what my team is doing in monetization. How can you benefit not only for Allegro, but also for the sellers and also for the consumers? And in fact, what seemed to be incredibly challenging just a couple of months ago, we proved can be done. So you can have, for example, the search results that are both relevant, that also monetize well, and also are improving ROAS for the sellers. And this is where you can see that we unlock the Disneyland of data.
Cool. Bartek, you were saying something. I know we had a discussion about it when we had our call last week.
Yeah, I mean, you mean, okay, so I'd like to relate to what you just guys said, but I believe that last year, observing our customers, and we work both with big corporations like Nationale-Nederlanden, ING, T-Mobile, Orange, and small companies, that last year everyone was talking about, is it just a momentary trend? It's just, like a fireworks. It just popped up, maybe we'll gather some money from investors and then maybe disappear, just like blockchain stuff, virtual reality, augmented reality, hybrid work supported with newer technologies and 3D cameras and stuff like that. And I think the main concern in both small, medium, and big companies was whether we should invest in it at all or just observe. And maybe if it will work somewhere, we'll just follow. Then I noticed that some companies started investing and implementing AI tools, both small and big ones. And then the main concern was hallucinations. How much we can let the steering wheel go and what will happen? I mean, how much we have to observe the algorithms in their actions and operations, and how much control do we have to still have over the results? And now the main subject is compliance, governance, and security, just like you mentioned. Yeah. And because the question was, what's the difference between implementation of the big and small companies? When you take a look at these three concerns and three elements, you will see that the smaller ones, they have less problems with building a proper mindset in their employees, educating them if it goes for consequences of improperly using artificial intelligence, of security issues. It's way easier to implement and test and evaluate, like make some proof of concept implementations of different, and there's hundreds and thousands of new applications and new software tools that use generative artificial intelligence, because we have to call it generative artificial intelligence, but the whole revolution is based on generative AI and not AI, which was present with us for years. So one thing is, it's easier to reach out to all your people and just send them a message, hey guys, this is secure, this is unsecure, these are consequences. Second thing is budget-wise decisions, because big companies have bigger budgets, so they not only could use things like Chat, Perplexity, or Claude, but they can invest in implementing and integrating these LLM models into their core systems like CRMs and business process management tools, and make it make the AI streamline their operations. And the third thing I think is bureaucracy. So in most cases, the bigger companies need more time to process all the agreements, papers, procedures, all the compliance and governance stuff, which makes it more difficult to implement the tools. But on the other hand, there's so much cheap and very effective tools on the market that they became available for the small companies, easy to implement by just, attaching your credit card to an account and just buying 5 tools, 5 chat GPTs, Perplexity, or some social media post generators, give it to your team, and instantly jump on a totally different level of efficiency, and being able to compete with the big ones, which very often hear now that the small companies, they say AI is a chance for us to be competitive to the biggest players on the market, because with the very agile and fast paced team, having the superpowers coming from AI tools make us more competitive to the biggest ones who are so slow in implementing and adopting technology because of bureaucracy and security issues, educational problems, and stuff like that.
I like that perspective, having my heart with the small ones. When online advertising became so popular and accessible, that I think was the first revolution, for example, for small e-commerce businesses to start competing, right, with big brands nowadays. Okay, Chris, Veena, like, what's your take on it? Like, Veena, you work with smaller, medium, like similar, like as Stripe. We work with many companies at the launch stage. Like, what's your take? Like, how easy it is with the companies that you work with?
Well, at the stage that I'm at with some of the businesses that I'm working with, it's really just enhancing speed and enhancing creativity. So I can give you 2 scenarios. For me personally, as a COO, some of the things that I have to do quite a bit is sometimes go through contracts and look at legal policies and agreements. And sometimes I have to, draft pitches on behalf of a CEO. So something like ChatGPT and getting on a paid plan for ChatGPT can become really easy in that regard, because, I can feed sometimes even if I don't understand a clause in a contract, I can put that in ChatGPT, and easily I can be like, well, what is this clause actually trying to say, versus going through my lawyer and paying my lawyer by the hour, or whatever retainer they're on to answer that question. Get a very simple answer, and then I could be like, okay, well, I don't want it to say that, I want it to say this, and then it would draft the clause for me, and then I would just go back to the person I was negotiating with, and I'd be like, change the clause to this, and it would be one of those things that make things very easy. Sometimes I do it to do very quick math, even like someone, if I've got to put a payment plan together for someone, I'm like, do this quick math, and what would it be like with the interest rate? Those are some of those things. But I've recently really started to enjoy Claude, because we were in a scenario where we were ramping up a lot of our marketing efforts, and unfortunately had to lose our copywriter. And so, if you're in a situation where you already have had a lot of copywriting done in the past, a lot of marketing copywriting done from sales pages that exist or opt-in pages that exist, lots of emails that you produced over the years, and suddenly your great copywriter is not around anymore. And also, that one human being could not churn out double the work in X amount of time. Generally, you now have got a system like Claude where you can just upload all of that as as reference, and then you go, now I need you to draft this like this. But again, going back to the importance of having and someone who's with a specialized skill and the expertise of marketing, being able to look at that and give the right prompts, the right briefs, be able to analyze and give the right feedback, that becomes very important. And the other thing is, like, if someone already is a productivity and an efficiency hacker, then you start to come up with processes or SOPs that you can now start to create, and then you feed that to the AI, so that the AI, you don't have to keep repeating the same prompts all the time. So some of the things that I would do is, like in Claude, for example, every marketing task is a project. So every webinar, individual webinar, is a project on its own. Every time we have to write a new lead capture, that becomes a new project of its own, and you can upload things into the knowledge base. But I start to create a document that is like a living document to me. So I'm always adding to it, and it's like rules for the AI, like don't do this, don't use these words, make sure you change things up. Here are some tips. And so every time I start a new project, I have a document called Tips for Claude, and I'll like upload it for Claude, and I'm like, follow my tips and instructions. And sometimes it gets fun. Claude doesn't listen, and I'll scold Claude. You know, I'm like, you got it wrong, Claude. And Claude is like, I'm so sorry. But you know,
that's exactly what you do, and when you have to bootstrap a bit in the smaller businesses, right? Like
correct.
That's a very different story than I think when you're working in corporation and moving pieces on. Like, Chris, do you have anything to add when it comes to smaller and bigger businesses' perspective on the AI implementation?
Yeah, I'm becoming a sum up guy in this discussion. So I would say there are 3 key features. First one is complexity of the data. Naturally, in big corporations, you have many sources of the data, many types of the data. So I remember talking recently with ING and asked them, like, what approach do you prefer, data lakes or data warehouse? And the CTO just laughed and said, naturally, we adopt both of the approaches because we have so many data. Some of them are structured, some of them are not. Second thing is safety and security. Of course, for large corporation, you cannot risk the percentage of the fine you would get if some of the data would be breached. And the third one would be off-the-shelf solutions for small companies, and big companies can actually afford building models. So I think that would be 3 things to sum up what you just said.
I like your summaries. Okay, I will jump through some of the questions because we have many, and I think you guys are touching base on many of the questions that I wanted to ask. But I think we have to ask this one because it's always what people are actually asking. Can you already measure the return on investment? Is there any way to judge if really implementing these AI solutions is saving you money? And are the companies that you're working at or you're collaborating with measuring this ROI? Or it's something that people are talking about, but not really putting a lot of pressure on? I mean, I got these questions from my clients, like how much money can we save when you guys implement AI? So I was getting these questions. Sometimes I had to try to, create this business case. It was very hard because then were also mistakes and hiccups, and we had to invest extra hours to really correct something that AI did and was wrong. And like, it was a very difficult task, right? But I want to hear your perspective. Chris, you wanted to start.
Can I go first for this time?
Yeah, go for it.
So I really wanted to touch base with this one because I think that's one of the most common misconceptions, understanding that AI is no different tool than anything else that we're using. And of course, any company, any CEO, any founder would ask for, what's the ROI of this project?
Of course.
So what we did with Bartek Pucek is we try to work on this framework that we call AI product canvas. So basically a business model canvas, but adopted to AI projects. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to ask what's the ROI. And there is one difference between AI projects and the different and the classic project, the other projects, because AI is progressing so far. So what we had 1 year ago, let's say for LLMs, image generations, or even processing the data when it comes to the cost of tokens, is rapidly changing every year. So what I advise to my clients is the ROI needs to be maximum 2 years. So normally in IT project, we base on calculations 4 to 5 years. But because of AI, the cost of tokens is decreasing so far. So I see many clients are hesitant. Shouldn't we wait until it's even cheaper? Shouldn't we wait until it's even faster? So I say,
better,
if you,
right?
yeah, even better. So if you are not sure that the ROI of your let's say $100,000 would be given back, would be repaid within no more than 2 years, do not start a project now. Wait for the technology to be better.
That's a very direct answer. What's your take on that? I don't know. Who would like to speak about that part? Maybe
I'll join. I would ask a different kind of question if I heard to point on ROI, and then I'll tell you just a few examples from my world. First, I think it's, of course, depending on how much you can afford, what's your scale, the answer will vary. But in general, I think the question should be, can you afford not to invest in AI? Because what's actually the alternative? It's like resistance is futile. It's not a fad, as we heard from Bartek. This is my mindset. This is not the next normal. This is the new normal. So those who ignore or are dissatisfied with the expected ROI might basically be dead in the water in a couple of years, unless they have unlimited access to low-cost top talents in technology and automation. Last time I checked, very few companies are in this situation. We have a different case. It's a talent war, especially in our industry. And every automation, every optimization, everything that help in productivity is just a rocket fuel for growth. So if you can have a rocket fuel, would you really switch to the cheap fuel and the traditional speed, especially when your competitors are accelerating? If we look at what is fueling the economy in the States and how we approach in Europe, I think this is the question on ROI. Sounds like a very European kind of question to ask. I don't think there is that many discussions on this area in the States. So I would rephrase the question. And if I look at the expectancy of returns, of course, when in my field on monetization, this like super monetization sensitive area where each little tiny area where you can optimize is giving you payout time, which is of course super attractive. So frankly, there is very little space or time we invest in discussing ROI because it's super attractive. And if we look also things like productization, if you compare the time needed to recruit top talents 5 years ago, during the COVID, and today, if you look at demographic changes, the question is, it's better ROI comparing to what? What are the alternatives? What gives you better ROI? If someone has way better, more attractive ideas to invest with higher ROI than AI, I'm all ears.
I love this perspective. It's like the world is changing. We just have to follow, right? Like if we don't, and as Bartek said, I don't know, Bartek, if you want to add something here, like this thing gonna stay with us.
Yeah, it will stay, but if I may I add something to this discussion? Because
and you guys also can disagree, like I love that Chris this like
so far I do agree with everything we say, but I'm here with my friend with the newest version of advanced ChatGPT voice control. Have you tried it? I mean the new one, the one that came up just a few days ago. Did you have a chance?
I haven't
so
yet.
let me ask my friend, okay, if it will work. Hey, I got a question. I'm talking to my customers about generative AI benefits, and they often ask me question about, okay, so how to measure return on investment? What would you say to such people?
To jest bardzo dobre pytanie. W przypadku generatywnej AI zwrot inwestycji...
Sorry. No. I want you to speak English, not Polish.
Got it. In the case of generative AI, measuring ROI can be approached in a few ways. Look at the time and resources saved by automating tasks, the increase in productivity, or even the boost in customer satisfaction.
Okay, I got a stupid question. Can you measure it with a calculator or need a spreadsheet? I mean, what's the procedure? I mean, what you should start with? What do you need to measure anything if it goes for return on investment?
That's not a stupid question at all. You can definitely use a spreadsheet to measure ROI. Start by identifying the costs associated with implementing the AI solution.
Yeah, I know. Identify costs, okay? But how can I identify costs? Maybe I should, I don't know, maybe map my processes at the beginning and start with some base just to have a benchmark, and then try to identify the levels of optimization possible, identify the gaps that could be filled with technology. What do you think about it? Is it a good idea?
Absolutely. That's a solid approach. Mapping your processes gives you a clear picture of your current operations and helps you establish a baseline. From there, you can identify areas where AI could
May I interrupt you for a second? Just a second.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, maybe my friends will have a question to you. Eva, what would you like to ask?
Of course, I'm ready for Eva's question. What would she like to know?
I mean, I think I'm more curious about your perspective on it still than the AI.
Eva, I don't have personal preferences or feelings since I'm an AI. I'm here to help you with information, answer questions, and chat about all sorts of topics. What else are you curious?
Okay, just wanted to show you this short demonstration because this is something that changed a lot. Like several days ago, they updated the interaction with voice, because we talk about prompting, we talk about feeding the data to the conversational models. We're talking about the skills you need. You are not now so far from being an expert, having your mobile phone and a set of headphones in your pocket, because walking to your customer, to a meeting with your board, you can ask some questions and prepare. You can you can upload, just like Veena said, upload your data, upload your information, the way you communicate with your customer, all description of the products that you are now working on, and some strategies and marketing campaigns that you are working on right now, and then continue this conversation with the model. It's getting so affordable and easy right now, and that's how it will change. Veena has a question. Sorry, I just wanted to show you this because this is incredible, and everyone can use it now.
I think that's amazing from the perspective of having your own almost like personalized coach, right? Who can prep you for this panel. Like I won't lie, like I'm using generative AI to prepare for these panels. Like I'm always bouncing the questions that I want to ask with either Claude or ChatGPT, and it's not something I'm doing on my own. So
but this is different, you know, because before this, like 5 days ago, you had the voice communication with ChatGPT that worked like you were talking and it was changed to text. Then the text converted to text. The text was sent to the model just like you were typing, but it was just speech to text conversion. And it was sent to the model. Now I'm really talking, interrupting, arguing. And this is totally different. It's like a phone conversation. So I really encourage you guys to give it a try. Have you tried it, Chris or Veena?
Veena,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for your shout because I see your hand is raised for quite some time.
Sorry about that. I wasn't sure when to put it down. I tried the voice activation last week. I'm not sure if it's been any different in the last few days, but last week going absolutely nuts with it. But, you know, I just want to kind of go back to Eva's question on the ROI and just adding to some of the things that was said. And I think so many great points. So there's ways of looking at it, right? There's ROI, there's cost savings, and then there's kind of like a way of looking at optimization and innovation. Like, you know, with my current experience with some of the smaller businesses that I'm working with right now, there's definitely been cost savings, I can tell you. Like, you know, this example of a copywriter, from having to spend $6,000 a month on copywriting, that's now $20 a month using Claude, right? So that's helped the business actually to some extent. Legal fees, of course, not having to go back and forth with a lawyer, just trying to understand something or just trying to make very basic, simple tweaks to a contract. But then also there are other ways of looking at it, like the ability to launch things at a faster rate, where before you might have to wait a week or two for marketing assets to be produced. Now you literally can produce and approve marketing assets within 48 hours if the team's on standby. But that aside, that's just business and go, go, go. What I now even more intrigued by is, how do I look at hiring individuals for my teams who are comfortable and apt with AI to enhance their job? Because, a lot of times I'd like to work with teams who have that 80-20 rule, the 80 rule of business as usual, and then the 20% rule of optimization and innovation. So if I can hire more people who are, who love pairing their work with AI, then therefore you can get your business as usual job done faster than normal, because AI can help speed up some of your tasks. And then now when we're looking at optimization and innovation, you've got a brainstorming partner in AI, you've got an assistant in AI, and there's so many things that, you've got a fact-checking tool with AI, you've got a creativity tool with AI. So I'm excited for seeing how people are going to incorporate AI into their own skill set and specialization for efficient output, productivity output, and then looking at innovation and optimization at a faster rate. A lot of teams, like I said, can get so caught up in launching business as usual. And then before you know it, you've got all these leaky buckets in your business and nobody's got time to plug them. So how do we now have a nice balance that, like, every week, 80% of your time, maybe now even less, goes to business as usual? And now can we increase the percentage of fixing leaky buckets, optimization, and scaling efforts with that?
I love that perspective. It touches base on the next very important question that I want you guys to answer. And if Chris, you will want to add something on the ROI, please, please do it.
I just wanted to just comment on what on the demo of Bartosz, because I think it's worth for us to just have a brief comment on it.
Yeah.
So of course I'm very impressed with everything that LLMs has been doing, and I had my little part of work that I helped to co-create ChatGPT 2 in version 2. But then still the answers are pretty generic. They're just like consuming a shake, like, this protein shakes that you eat. And I don't personally imagine, eventually did we end up eating just protein shakes and all this,
Some people
food
think so. Okay.
And I think that's still, we are very far away from getting the job done until we truly enable complex agents to act in our name. And to do that, it's not a technical problem. We will face the same difficulties as we have with autonomous vehicles. There's no problem for us, from data science, machine learning perspective, that we turn all the vehicles to be autonomous. But there are some problems with accessing the data. So let's say Allegro would like to streamline that. Everything is answered by chatbots. It is possible now. But there are some edge cases that are they're quite difficult to handle. McDonald's, huge corporation, very simple task. People give burgers. They test it out, so they drive-thrus are optimized by AI. Super simple thing. Until people start ordering ice cream with bacon. And that's the moment where LLMs are totally lost. And they shut the test after a month because people are way too creative. And that's the edge cases are so common. And that's our issue. And another one is accessing the data. So we basically, with CyberSec, we know how to close. So we could make robots, in theory, agents, to run our campaigns, generate photos, generate copywriting. Everything in theory is possible. But we do not want, unless for now, to access the data, and we don't know how to do it. So I see lots and lots of obstacles. Just I wanted to say that even though it is super impressive as we hear it, if we want to dig deeper, it's super difficult to process difficult tasks in my perspective.
So,
but Chris, if you feed, as you know, when you ask generic question, you receive generic response. When you ask generic question to like ChatGPT without feeding the model with your particular specific data from your company, like sales data or some.
I got your point. Well, so I give you an example what I'm truly working on right now. That's a super complex. So basically, if you go to the doctor for your 15 minutes visit, 10 minutes on average in Europe is spent by the doctor by the computer, writing your documentation, writing prescriptions. That's hell. We want more patient doctor time. So we give doctors the ACR detection tool. So as they are having their conversation, we are trying to input the data. But of course, the amount of data trained in LLMs with proper medical data is quite not enough. So we put lots and lots of dictionary with all the proper medical expressions, etc. And we'll spend millions of euros to train that. And hopefully in a couple of years, we'll have this partly done. So these are the real issues we're trying, and we're so far, and I dig my mind in so many complex projects. Like I'm helping for people as they choose Netflix and they're overwhelmed with this number of choices, that actually someone is asking like 3 questions, like, what's your mood today? Are you watching with your wife or on your own? Or like, are you more into comedy and stuff? So you are not overwhelmed with these choices. And these things, as they seem technically super easy, and I have number of teams that I'm working on as a scientist, that when we go into practicality of super simple things, they're so hell difficult when you try to implement the real world problems. Sorry for that. I just wanted to mention.
But because, guys, the time is passing, and I know I can't keep you here for the whole day, although this discussion could really last. I wanted to come back to this question about people. I loved what Veena said about the profile of people that she loves to have on the team, spending 80% on business as usual and 20% on like automation, innovation. That's a great perspective. Like I do share it. It changed a lot in my business when I understood that people need to have the process orientation. But I want to hear you out. Like, what kind of people do you need right now in the businesses? Let's try to focus on the e-commerces and businesses that actually sell products, because that should be the base of this conversation. Like, how do you choose the people for your teams if you have in mind this AI absorption? So what's your take on it? What would you add to what Veena said?
Well, I can just add very briefly. So I run about 6 projects in parallel, 10 people each on average. So usually I look for people who are subject matter experts in the field, in this case, e-commerce marketing, but they have at least minimal knowledge on how AI works. And it was mentioned in this discussion that AI is a way of thinking. And I think, honestly, it's much easier to train someone how machine learning is working, the basics of data science. You can learn this in over 6 months. To be a subject matter in e-commerce, I don't think you can do it in less than 2, 3, 4 years. So I think our approach, like for you, Eva, as a CEO of your company, would be actually to make your people learn a lot of data science, machine learning basics, so they understand how to encompass this power. Because if you take a machine learning specialist to teach this person how the e-commerce, I don't think you can do it in half a year.
True. I mean, I also do share this idea of T-shaped people who should stand on one leg of deep specialization and have a perspective on more subjects that are related to this particular field that they are operating within. And I think the AI became like another bucket of skills that those people should have. They should know how to work with AI, and they should know what are the tools available. I do share that, and thank you for it. And Marcin or Bartek, do you have any other cool tips on what kind of people companies should look for if they want to embrace AI and what comes with it?
Marcin?
I think, first of all, it's the curious people who are unfinished, and they have manageable ego, which is they're open, just like have mindset of growth. It has nothing to do with education, with the generation, gender. It's completely irrelevant. As long as you understand the basics of training, what can be trained, what can be optimized, what can be automated, this can really unlock a completely different trajectory of each organizational growth. And then ideally, if you have a friendly competition, you can have people in finance with turning forecasting into super forecasting, people in customer experience, where they're able to really automate this calls and use solutions, sometimes scary like Klarna did, but super efficient if you really need to scale up your business, and across every other function. So this is about also culture of not being the fear-based culture, and usually people, independent on the age and position, might be afraid of any change, or God forbid, revolution, if they fear there is a loss behind it. But if they instill the security that needs to come from top leadership, it's an opportunity, and it can be, as I said, the rocket fuel of growth. And if you are able to incentivize these first easy wins, when you spend a little, learn a lot, scale up, encourage others, and build a fundamental understanding, then great things might happen. In fact, I don't think there is an alternative.
I love that. I love that comment on curious and open people. Really, that seems so obvious, and we think everyone is like that, but really, it's not always
That's
true.
tough. Yeah.
No,
I want to add to that, actually. I think, at the end of the day, the specialists you need to hire, but it's the type of person that you're kind of looking for. Curious is one. I always look for individuals who are curious. I always look for detail-oriented individuals, like, eagle eye, hawks, like spot things. And the third one is the mentality of hire for attitude and train for skill. At the end of the day, as Marcin was saying as well, it's like the resiliency of the individual, the people who are not intimidated by change. It's always the attitude of the individual that you're hiring. And then, but that's a separate HR conversation topic that we would have for one of your other online things. Like, how do you now, what are the screening processes that you would put in place to hire these people? But those three things are just the same. And then you pair them with AI, and then, you've got a somewhat better optimized individual.
And Bartek, what's your take on the people?
Well, I think most of the most important things has been said right now. But just to build something on top of that, I'll just share my impression of a conversation with a customer I had last week. It's one of the biggest private production companies in Poland, and I met with their sales team representatives. We were talking about artificial intelligence, and during the break, they approached me and they said, "Hey, we get so much work, and we are being paid for selling, not for learning, that we just don't have motivation to hop on some courses and trainings and lose our time on experimenting with new tools when we've got so many operational tasks to do and to complete to get our money." So this is exactly proving what Marcin and Veena said, that you should look for people who are not thinking only through the perspective of the commission, and they are really eager to learn. And if I'm looking for people right now to my team, the first thing is just talk to them about their approach to learning. If there are people, Marcin said a really beautiful phrase: people who are not complete, who are not finished, right? Yeah. So people who are not, who do not think that they've got like 15, 20 years experience in their expertise and that they can build on top of that. No, this is the time where they have unlearned some things and make space on learning new things. So I think this is crucial.
Okay, thank you. And because the time has come to start finishing this panel, I want to ask this final question, and I think Chris already kind of answered it at the beginning, which is about the future. Like, what are you guys predicting? What's going to have the biggest impact on e-commerce businesses, other businesses? And you said that it's going to be agents talking to agents. So basically, I will be here, not sitting. There will be my phone talking to you guys. You guys will have your phones, and going to be a panel discussion, and we're going to later just read the notes, right? And done deal. Like, I'm doing wing foiling, which is my latest hobby, or anything else at the same time. What else? What else you guys see? Like, what's coming?
This is Eva, but this is something really, really practical, actually. I mean,
I know.
what
I'm
Chris said at
waiting.
the beginning, I mean, it might be controversial when you look at it now from perspective of 2024, and you think about, you know, phone talking to a phone or agent to agent. But actually, if, for example, if you got got some law problems and you hire a lawyer, he becomes your agent, and the other side also has a lawyer. So you don't want to be part of this conversation. You just want to brief your lawyer what's important for you, and then the lawyers will do the job. You pay for it, and then you just get the result, and you can focus on things that are important for you. And I think we should look at the agent to agent scenario from this perspective, that there are some parts of our life and our job, not only in terms of e-commerce, that might be done with agent that has all the knowledge needed to take decisions on behalf of us. And we can focus on building relations, on making teams that perform, of building relations with our customers, creating new business strategies and things that need real human creativity. And agents will take care of everything that is, like, you know, back and forth communication and things that might be done based on some kind of, you know, algorithms and fundamentals. That's something that will happen eventually, and I'm looking forward to it, just to get rid of things that I just don't have to be involved in.
Veena, Marcin, what's the future? What do you guys think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's that extreme future that we see, I think, kind of hitting singularity, and one day everything that you need is there and you can be in multiple meetings at the same time because your agents are doing it for you, or your best marketing specialist is launching 3 or 4 things at the same time. But I think also from the perspective of, you know, if you look at human talent and you look at mental health, right? So, like, you know, I think with AI as well, you know, if you look at people having a zone of incompetence, a zone of competence, and a zone of genius, AI is really there to take things like that keep you in your unhappy state, which is when you're operating in your zone of incompetence and your zone of competence, like take you out of that so that you can truly be in your zone of genius. And then you're really doing the things that you love, and then you're living in joy. And when you are so happy because though you are in your zone of genius all the time, then you are, you know, not only being more productive and happier in like real work situations, but then you're probably a better individual to these people that are closest around you. So hopefully I'm thinking the future of AI is not going to solve our mental health problems, but the things that burden us, that cause unnecessary anxiety and stress, can be kind of out of the picture. And so we can all be living in our zone of genius.
I love that perspective. And Marcin, some of your final words?
Think about 3 scenarios. I don't know the future. I don't know what's around the corner, but I can imagine 3 things that might change a lot how we operate professionally and personally. I can imagine a virtual twin on Zoom that has monetized premium features. You can upgrade for hundreds of $1,000s and you become a superpower. So no one wants your person. Everyone will just love to have your virtual twin on every call because you may become a problem solver super machine with emotional intelligence that Adam Grant would love to have. Second thing, imagine about virtual spouse, because, you know, Tinder attraction will one day expire and there will always be the deficit. So imagine a virtual lover that is just, you just keep on talking and no human being is able to match. And there was the last one, which is very scary, which is teens looking for friendships and soulmates, which they cannot find. You can design a virtual friend that is unmatched. And so this can move us into the notion that we might need to be more careful and responsible in how we design the future. More careful, more attention is needed than ever.
I love that dark, this dark thought from your opinion. Thank you, guys. I mean, we have to finish, unfortunately, although I think we have to have a second talk about AI because, oh my God, this topic is just so wide. Let me just give like a 1-minute summary, and we can be posting summary of on LinkedIn, so guys wait for it. But we talked about AI, we talked that it's gonna stay. We talked about what people are afraid of. The most they're afraid that it's actually gonna replace their jobs, which is totally untrue. It's gonna move us to our genius zones. That's what Veena beautifully said. It's gonna help us to actually get rid of the stuff that we don't want to do. And focus on the most important when it comes to work, to collaboration, to strategy, and sometimes to life as well. And if you want to build teams that embrace AI, it's like you should look for people who are, I think Marcin said it beautifully, not complete. They're constantly look for something to add. They look for a space to change, to innovate, but they should also be actually detail oriented, because we know that AI is great, but Chris pointed out to us that it's just so much work to be done to really create tools that are precise and that can help us with difficult tasks, especially in the medical field, for example. Like there's so much work ahead of us. Like it's helping out, but there's still space. So we need to be curious, we need to be implementing, but we need to be checking. And I think, Chris, you were giving so many good summaries here, and you said that work is really about planning and about execution and then testing. And, you know, we still should be testing, and we still should be checking if AI did a good job, because we're still not in a moment where it can be replacing us here or anywhere else to this 100%. So thank you, guys. It was amazing discussion. I loved it. I will probably have you back for another one because, as I said, this is important topic. Plus, as you all said, like it's changing so quickly that probably in 6 months from now we can have a discussion about AI, and you guys will say totally different things. So thank you again. And if you guys are listening to us live, please stay. We have one more short presentation by Martyna from our team, which we did manage to do before the panel. I wanted to start on time to be mindful of our panelist time. And thank you, guys. And let's listen to Martyna. Thank you, my dear panelists. And see you at the next conversation. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. It was a very nice meeting.
Martyna, let's hear about HR and workflow. Some great cases from Tribe. All the panelists that want to stay with us, please just turn off your cameras so we can give the space to Martyna to talk and we can listen to her.
Okay, guys, just let me know if you see my presentation. Yes, Eva, you can. I hope yes. Let me check. Yes, okay, perfect. Okay, thank you very much for waiting. I know it's a little bit longer than we predicted. However, I hope still after all those really interesting discussions, I can bring some value. And I want to show real examples of how we use AI in Tribe 47 for team management. So I hope you can actually see how it can be done. All the things that we discussed during panel, especially regarding team and how to manage it and how to save time. So firstly, I want to share with you common challenges in team management. These are not all the challenges, obviously, and these are some challenges that I think that we addressed at least in some degrees through AI. So common challenge is having several sources of information about what's going on in your company. Templates, checklists, policies, everything is everywhere. I think every organization at some point had this problem or still have this problem. And it actually produces the next common challenge, which is constant questions. So people don't know where to find things. So I think HR and operational people can agree that our job mostly is actually answering questions and saying how we do stuff. So this is definitely a challenge. And then challenge that everyone can relate to. So easy but annoying, time-consuming tasks, and they often are operational tasks that we have to do, but nobody really wants to. Then is feedback. I think most of the organizations still have problems with feedback. They don't have feedback culture, or when they have feedback processes, they are not followed, or feedback is not done often enough, or it's not constructive enough. And this also causes another problem. So creating learning opportunities, especially in e-commerce business, I think it's really, really important to give learning opportunities. I think people in this field are not here because they just want to earn money and go home. They want to earn money, go home, but also grow. So you actually have to provide learning opportunities. And it's not so easy because, as we said, like 80%, 80-20, yes, 80 is the business as usual, maybe 20 is for testing. And within this 20, we cannot often find time to grow and learn. And last but not least, I think every management member can agree that introducing changes in a company is really hard, even when people say they love changing and they're amazing and dynamic teams. Yes, we are when we are in control of the change. And usually in organization, the changes are thrown at you, like, you know, the management comes and here's new tool, learn it now. And usually subconsciously or consciously, we're fighting these changes. And these are some of the challenges that we try to address through AI. And firstly, I want to share with you my approach to AI in team management. So I believe that we should treat AI as a new employee. So even when you hire the best expert in the market, in the beginning, they firstly need to understand your company, use your existing tools, use your existing processes. They're not coming in immediately in one day doing a revolution. Yes, so the same with AI, like it's a revolutionary tool, but right now, actually, we just can test it on the existing stuff and see where it's gonna take us, yes? So our first test was actually creating interactive knowledge base. And this is how we address this first problem of having thousands of sources of knowledge about how we do stuff in Tribe 47. So in 2018, we created the Cave. We're the tribe, so we have Cave, obviously. And this was just a website with all the information, tools, checklists, policies in Tribe. But actually, it was not true because we also had Google Drive and we used Slack and some project management tools. So at the end, nobody was really checking it because it was separate website that you had to purposely go to check on some information. So of course it was way easier to just Slack Martyna and ask all the questions. So basically I stopped updating it. People didn't check it. So it was intranet that was actually not useful. So what we did, we moved all this knowledge to ClickUp. And why ClickUp? Because it was already our tool that we use every day. We use it to like track our time, to see the task, manage projects. So moving it there was more organic for a company. Yes, like everyone is checking ClickUp, so it's more obvious for them to check it for some information. And then AI comes in and AI becomes this HR that answers questions because ClickUp has an AI option. So if we feed it information, actually our employees can have like chat with chatbot on ClickUp, and they can ask and look for information through AI, and it's really quick. They don't have to scroll some website, and I'm really happy because nobody annoys me with the questions. So a great solution, recommend, and you can do it not only on ClickUp. Right now, most of the project management tools have it, and if you don't have any of those tools, still check your tools that you already have in the company. As I said, you should not introduce it like a big change. I think you should try to find AI solution within the processes and tools you already have in your company. And next big thing that really changed the game for us are AI notes from meetings. We are a remote first company, so our meetings are mostly online, and we are service companies. We are consultants, so we constantly have meetings with clients, with each other, we make decisions. So big operational tasks that was annoying and time consuming was taking notes, then making it into the plans, and then making the plans into the task on ClickUp. So we introduced Fathom in Tribe 47, and Fathom is connected to our Google Meet, but can be connected to Zoom or whatever you're using. And notes from meetings are automatically created and organized into topics. You have, as you see in these examples, next steps plans. So also you can then copy this next steps plans, and in our case, we can put it in ClickUp, and because ClickUp has AI, we can ask ClickUp to make these notes into tasks. So suddenly 1 hour, or 30 minutes work after meeting is reduced to 2 minutes, yes? And what is important, you also can send it immediately to all the participants. So, there is no avoiding that we didn't remember from the meeting because notes are there. And last but not least, it's not only in English. I can show example in English, but we, for example, mostly talk in Polish, and you can have notes in Polish. And there are several languages available, and Fathom is not the only tool. Here are some other examples. I didn't test them. I just, Googled them. So I recommend to check it. However, they are already there. So this is really life-changing. And I think we are heavy users right now in the company. Everyone is using AI notes. And after seeing how good the notes are, we started to think how we actually implement it into our talent development processes. So first test is actually to create feedback tool with AI notes connected with large language model. So ChatGPT or Claude AI. And how we do it. So you take the script from from your meeting, the transcript or the notes, and you actually share them with ChatGPT with context. So for example, I had a meeting with client and it was consulting meeting. So I'm taking this transcript, I'm taking these notes, and I'm sharing with ChatGPT and say please tell me what I can do better next time on this kind of meetings to be the best consultant on earth, what was good, what was bad. And then actually you get feedback. And what is amazing in this, first of all, I think you can get feedback about the situations that normally you don't get feedback about, because either clients are not so happy to give you feedback right away and you don't want to ask often, or people who were on the meeting with you from your team, they're focused on their staff and the feedback sounds like you should be more confident. So it's hard to learn, yes? And here is a model, language model, you give them context and it gives you back some feedback. And also actually, it's quite nice to get feedback from a robot, it's not emotional, and some people are stressed when they get feedback from managers. So this is the way how you can learn about stuff you can improve on your own. And I really, really recommend it. But it also showed me that, there are different ways of using AI in development, in growing, in feedback. That's why I decided this year, last week, to test it in our performance review processes. So our performance review processes contains few steps, but definitely we always gather feedback from all the people about all the people, and we gather self-assessments. Every person also feels self-assessments. And at the end, there's meeting with managers. So we also produce this additional document with about the meeting and how it went with managers. So we have at least 3 big documents with all the opinions. And what I did, I fed it to ChatGPT. And here, of course, I don't know if you know, but here is the feedback about Beyonce, because obviously Beyonce is a performance specialist at Tribe 47. So I asked ChatGPT how he sees Beyonce. Yes, it is Beyonce because I feed it the feedbacks and self-assessment. And still, I believe that performance review should be a human process, obviously. However, first of all, it can be time consuming. And here we have a summary. And the second of all, we're people. So sometimes we have biases, or we have, as managers, history with our employees. And this is nice check to see what ChatGPT sees in the same documents that I read, and maybe there is different perspective, because this is a pure opinion based on what was read without the biases. It's kind of, on the therapy session that your therapist doesn't know your whole story, just what you said, and then he can mirror it. So, and I really liked it. And then we can push it further because ChatGPT or Claude or whatever other program is already fed with this information, so they can help us with decision. So I also gave ChatGPT context how we make decisions on salary raises or promotions. So I asked if Beyonce should get more money. I mean, those millions are not enough, apparently. And also then when we decide to give Beyonce a new position of senior performance specialist, we can ask about development plan, how she can become the best manager or senior. So as you can see, like ChatGPT or Claude or AI tools can be your sparring partners and can make your work faster also in this really, really human processes. So at the end, I want to just summarize that, in my opinion, AI in team management is best when it's organic. So when it's not this big change, you just introduce it within the processes that are already there and check how it can be improved with AI. It's best when it's treated like assistant. This intern, new employee, they're helping you, but definitely you cannot trust that they're gonna do job for you. And third thing, look, because I don't see my own notes. Can bring more order to your processes. Definitely, I think if you want to introduce AI to your internal processes, you should have in mind that the goal is to be more organized. Then, of course, this last part with Beyonce, it can bring more objective perspective, yes, because it just reads what you feed it. It doesn't have this human factor, which can be a positive thing. Saves time, obviously, like with notes from event. And last but not least, still is in its early stages. So right now is this assistant intern. And definitely, maybe, as we mentioned on the panel, in a few years, it's going to be amazing expert representing us on the meetings. But right now, it's definitely the assistant. Okay, guys, thank you. I hope it was still useful. And thank you, everyone who stayed and listened to me, even after like such an amazing panel with so much information. I don't know, Eva?
Thank you, Martyna. It was good to stay for this one, actually. I love how we are actually having this open mind and at Stripe and experimenting with different tools. Obviously, be careful with it, guys, because as you can see, even the review process can be partly automated. I think we're using it with the benefit for our people, because I think thanks to AI, they're actually getting a more precise feedback. And I was always we're always like looking to make things better, and I love it. And I'm also really, really proud that as an organization, we managed to implement the right tools. That the tools that we're using right now, like ClickUp, it was a good choice a few years back. And this tool actually embraced AI, and they have a lot of functionalities that, as Martyna showed, are helping us right now. And we don't have to do a lot of external implementations. Like we don't have to connect ChatGPT with some old school systems that we're using. So I think that's also very good if you're a small organization and always embracing technology, embracing some new pieces of technology that are useful, and they're growing with the time and trends. That's helpful. So thank you guys for that event, for your attention. Hopefully delivered some value, and see you at the next EGM that's gonna happen probably in the next 1.5 months. So let's see what the topic gonna be. If you guys have some ideas, drop them in. So thank you. Bye-bye.